in the rolling green hills of Bampton, where the river Exe winds like a silver thread through ancient fields, Duvale Farm stood as a bastion of quiet tradition. Its stone walls and thatched roof had weathered centuries, sheltering generations of farmers who worked the land with steady hands and wary hearts. But beneath the pastoral calm lingered a tale as old as the river itself, tale of an unnamed spook, a restless spirit whose slow, deliberate journey from the Exe to the farm kept the villagers whispering for decades. No one knew who the spook had been in life. Some said he was a medieval shepherd, drowned in the river during a flood, his soul bound to the water's edge. Others whispered he was a highwayman, betrayed by his own and left to die on the riverbank, his spirit cursed to wander for his crimes. Whatever his origins, the legend held firm. The spook moved a cockstride, a rooster step, no more than a foot or two each year, inching from the river Exe toward Duvale Farm, as if drawn by some unfulfilled purpose buried in the farm's soil. Why he moved, or what he sought, no one could say, but the villagers marked his progress with a mix of dread and fascination, as if watching a storm gather on a distant horizon. The tale had been passed down through generations, a cautionary whisper told by firelight. Old farmers claimed their grandfathers had seen him in the fields at twilight, a faint shimmer in the air, a shadow too tall for a man, drifting just above the grass. He never spoke, never lingered, but his presence left a chill as sharp as winter frost. By the 20th century, the spook's journey had become a matter of local arithmetic, a grim calculation shared over pints at the Red Lion. Around 20 years ago, in the late 1950s, the village elders reckoned he'd reached the halfway point across the dividing field, a wide, sloping meadow between the river and the farm, where sheep grazed and wildflowers bloomed in summer. The field stretched nearly a mile, and at a cockstride a year. The maths was simple but unsettling. He'd been at it for centuries, and centuries more might pass before he reached his goal. Young Tom Carter, who'd taken over Duvale Farm in the early 1950s, heard the stories from his father and laughed them off as old wives' tales. Ghosts don't walk fields, he'd say, his hands calloused from plow and scythe. Only sheep do. But even Tom couldn't ignore the strangeness that seemed to shadow the farm. On certain nights, when the moon hung low over the Exe, the sheep would scatter from the dividing field, their bleats sharp with panic, though no fox or dog could be blamed. Once, in the fog of a November dawn, Tom swore he saw a ripple in the grass, a faint disturbance moving against the wind, tracing a path straight toward the farm. He shook it off, blaming a sleepless night, but the unease lingered like damp in his bones. The villagers, less inclined to dismiss the old ways, kept their own watch. Old Mrs. Hargreaves, whose cottage overlooked the field, claimed to chart the spook's progress each year. "He's halfway now," she'd mutter, her gnarled finger pointing to a spot where the grass grew sparse, as if something unseen pressed it down. "Mark my words, when he reaches Duvale, there'll be a reckoning." What that reckoning might be, no one dared guess, but the tales grew darker with each telling. Some spoke of a debt unpaid, others of a grave desecrated, when the farm's foundations were laid centuries ago. The spook's slow march carried the weight of inevitability, a reminder that time, even for the dead, moved forward. Life at Duvale Farm went on, season blending into season, but the shadow of the spook kept the villagers at a cautious distance. They'd help Tom with the harvest or share a pint in Bampton, but few lingered past dusk, their eyes darting to the dividing field as they hurried home. And though the spook remained unseen to most, His presence was felt a chill in the air, a whisper on the wind, a single cockstride closer with each passing year. The field still stretches between the River Ishay and Duvale Farm, its grasses swaying in the breeze, and somewhere in its midst, the unnamed spook continues his journey, patient as stone, drawing ever nearer to a destination only the dead can know. Many thanks for treading this tale's dark path. If its chill gripped you, like, follow, subscribe, and comment below.